Greetings. Welcome to the Lightroom forecast. Today it's the 4th of February, isn't it? No, it's the 5th. Oh my goodness. I thought it was the 5th. Greetings, welcome. Today I'm just coming in with what is in effect a chakra reading of sorts. I've deliberated over this the last few days to try and find a way of doing it that is comfortable to me. I think generally if we're reading chakras, its place really belongs in a private reading setting. But collectively, which I think is very important at the moment, to do just a general collective reading. We're starting this week and just saying a few things. If you're not familiar with the chakras, they are simply energy points in the body. We're concentrating here on the 7 main chakras from the base at the bottom of the spine, moving up through into the 7th at the crown area. There's a lot of information. It's ancient. It's ancient information also, so it's nothing new. But what I thought we'd do today for the collective, for the world, well, not for the world, but directed at this collective, at the global level, because we are all connected, and in fact there are many energy points, other chakras within the body and beyond our physical self, but we are keeping it to the 7 main ones today. So we're starting at the base. We'll just go up through the sacral, solar plexus, the heart, the will center, the mind, crown, and we'll be pulling a journey map card for each of those positions. But just a little bit about the base chakra, the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. It relates to familial connections, our roots in life, our ability to ground ourselves, our survival instincts. It pertains to loyalty within our group, our family, our community. It also pertains to the values that we learnt within the unit or tribe that we were born into. So it's an area where you could say, if you were feeling a little bit spaced out, a little bit all over the place, unfocused, this is where the ability to ground becomes very important, because this is the foundation. It's all about the material world. Our ability within ourselves, how we see ourselves as being able to survive in this world. And for everyone around the planet at the moment, whatever your circumstance, whatever your situation is, there is a main part of this chakra is the aspect of belonging, of having a home and a place to belong. So it's very fundamental. It's very important. And in fact, I guess, evolve on a personal level and on a collectively, our sense of, and we're speaking in terms of our personal power and how we use it, because these are power centers throughout our body, as we do evolve individually, collectively, as a species, as we are moving forward, which seems to be the term of the day, moving forward, we need to really start to understand how we use our power in a collective manner, in a collective way. Is not so butting up, just butting up conflict, strife. It's really not worked and doesn't work. So if we understand ourselves individually, in theory, our own personal sense of understanding of ourselves and our immediate loved ones, family, community, friends, in effect, one would think, well, okay, that's going to spill out, it's going to radiate out to the wider world, to the wider collective, which is really a necessity in order for us to continue to live on this beautiful earth, of which itself has traditionally chakra points. Glastonbury, I think, is the heart centre. I can't recall. Lake Titicaca is one point. Uluru in Australia, just across the road there. That is another point. And so as we see the as in the macro and the micro and the macro, as above so below, all of this sort of stuff. So I'm rambling on a little bit here. If you're not interested in this kind of thing, I'm sure you've gone by now. So what we're going to do is pull a card for each of the chakras, starting with the base today. And I am using my own deck, the Journey Map deck, because of the reason why I'm using this particular deck is that it came about when I designed it and wrote it in 2019, towards the end of 2019. It was based on my own exploration of after a period of, in some ways, a level of isolation through choice. It really was came out of that period, and it is based on a journey through my understanding of working with these energy centers. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And wherever you are, if this is new information for you, I hope I've been reasonably clear. Each week we'll do a reading, a collective reading again, and we'll look at the next chakra as we go up next week. It is the sacral, around the navel area, which is largely about how you negotiate your relationships, how you negotiate your own personal power out there in the world. I speak of power, it is the basis of the drive in humans. It seems if we don't respect it within ourselves, we fail to be able to either respect it or be able to work with it in others as well. So anyway, rambling on. Let's shuffle the journey map cards up and let's see what we get. We're starting with the base chakra today on this, what is a collective reading for this beautiful planet and life, all forms of life that we are all connected to. So we start with the base chakra for this collective reading today. Excuse me, I'll just come in a little bit closer. It's a little bit more of an intimate feel to this. So we look at the base chakra here. If we can get one of you little babies to pop out. The base chakra. Now keep in mind this is a collective reading. We get Lady of the Lake. So we're starting at the base today. Lady of the Lake, she looks quite kooky, doesn't she? With her spyglass. Look, this is a very Neptunian card. It's a very watery card. And therefore, it has the ability to, I say bamboozle because that's just what I hear. This card is about being very, or trying to be honest with oneself about the illusions and delusions that we may have about ourselves. A choice to not be aware of motivations and intentions or where they originate from within our world personally. That is a choice. And it's a choice that opens up a lot of room for bamboozling, for I guess not being honest. It's honesty, self-honesty. Yeah, it's a challenge, but we must have a drive for this, I think, because this card tells us that it's quite easy, and of course we can all feel and understand this. It's quite easy to get lost in our own illusions. And the Lady of the Lake, the further and deeper we enter this lake, you could liken it to smoke and mirrors, but with the Lady of the Lake, it's more about mirrors. At some point, we don't know which way is up or which way is down. And in fact, we could barely navigate our way out. It sounds kind of dark, and there is a dark element to it, but in drawing this for the base chakra, it really signals something that makes great sense to me. This chakra that's all about grounding, solidity, security, and just straight up knowing where we are, where we're seated and where we sit, and who's around us and who we trust. This is like the antithesis of that. And it's, I wouldn't say it's a warning card, it's just suggesting this abstract idea, this idea that self-honesty is a key to not get lost in this lake with the lady of the lake. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So that's what we get for the base chakra today. Let's move our way to the sacral chakra, the navel position. You know, it's like that thing where we just feel something in our gut. That's our sacral chakra. Wow. We feel something in our gut, in a zone, namely the sacral chakra. That's all about, this is where so we've been in our base with our familials, with the values that we've learnt, and our loyalties. Then we venture out, and now we're having relationship with others beyond that sort of survival zone. So there's a two-way street. It's almost a two-way negotiation. What do we get? We get the hive collaborator. This card, as you can see, it's a beekeeper here. Now this card represents the ability to be a marvelous facilitator. In this card we see the macro down to the micro. We sense what people need, this beautiful, healthy elixir, this honey. We sense that people need it. We know that not only is there a colony or many colonies of bees that we visit, that we go to, that are doing this amazing, performing this amazing role just by sheerly being alive and doing what they're designed to do. But we can facilitate others joining in with this. The beekeeper teaches what it is to facilitate this this healthy elixir, the making of this healthy elixir, and gathers people together in the process. So there's a mirroring between the bees, the people, the ability to perform this role. I find that interesting. And the sacral chakra, it's very busy, because quite honestly, when we're coming from the base, this security and very basic needs, we enter into this zone. That this is quite a busy, there's a lot going on in this environment. There's a lot we juggle, and we kind of need to keep all at the same time, which is hugely challenging, this clear channel. It's like the hive collaborator is the ultimate multitasker. But the drive here is for the, in some ways, for the good of the whole, as much as honouring our own abilities to be the facilitator of this process. It's kind of interesting. Now we move up. We move up to the area which contains largely our self-esteem, the solar plexus, amongst other things. Let's see. Solar plexus, please. Now we're speaking globally here. Quite honestly, I don't know if this reading, I don't know if we'll continue with these readings, but not in this way. Solar plexus, we get adaptation. Now this popped up in one of the love readings the other day. This takes great courage. We see the heart, the third eye, the mind, the crown lit up. We've been open to new information. We've allowed new connections in our own inner net, I guess. And it takes courage and bravery, and it takes having a big heart, primarily, initially, for yourself. Is not this a huge part of developing self-esteem, of which I don't believe we are born with that. So it's something that over time, and depending on our environment, i.e. largely often the environments that we are born into, can often determine the trajectory of how we do develop our self-esteem here. And when we do, and as we work on it, as we can work on it, as it oscillates over time, we work on it. We almost see this sort of ability of sonar, that we start to be able to read our environment. We can read the signals coming in without reacting like maniacs. I think this is pretty good. Collective, when you think about, I guess what goes on in the world, or what's going on at the moment, and the big changes that we are going through, and the uncertainty around these changes. So now we get to the big kahuna of the heart chakra, which I always think, well, all roads lead to metaphorical, as a saying, all roads lead to Rome, and this is the heart, underestimated and yet spoken of by poets, musicians, writers, artists throughout the ages. The heart. Wow. This is from whence we must all come back to. And so we get Lady of the Hearth, which is really all about this. If we connected this with the base chakra position today, we would see the base and the heart very much intertwined and working together. This is about a warm and nourishing environment where we are free to philosophize and discuss with mutual respect, where great inspiration and creativity, where the seeds of all of these amazing things come into sprout. Everyone is nourished in this place with Lady of the Hearth. It can be a work environment, it can be a community, it can be a home. But it's a beautiful space. Clearly, there is, when everything else is looking a bit custard-like, Lady of the Hearth comes in and draws you all in to be fed emotionally, physically, energetically, on every level, intellectually. It's hugely important. This is a beautiful card to come out in the position of the heart. Isn't it amazing? I think that's beautiful. And when things are in custard mode, as long as we have this to come back to, now this can be a space within, not just a physical space. I think the general directive in that Lady of the Hearth was that you actually, when things come to the crunch, when it's hard to really see here what is secure for you, what's supporting you, what your foundation is, where you belong. It's where you belong. Come in to this point within yourself, and there is, in those times, a place of comfort and belonging. I truly believe that. Now, we get to this, the will center, how we express ourselves, world, globally. How are we expressing ourselves at the moment? What's going on? What is going on? Wow, we might not know exactly what's going on, like in a literal sense, but we know we're all connected at this point. We're starting to understand this more and more and more. Heart song, is a song in some ways. It's about understanding in a very tangible, almost in a physical way, the energetics of all the people in your world, to begin with, all the people in your world and beyond, that we are all connected beyond time and space. Beyond time and space. And these threads, like a web, they're very, very, very strong ties. I don't mean ties, I mean it's more like threads that are all connected. In the most simplest way that you can think of it, like the most simplest way, I think, is when you're thinking about someone and then you get a phone call from them. It's that kind of thing. Depending on where we're at, sometimes we don't, because life can be busy, we're not thinking in these terms. But this is what's going on anyway, whether we're aware of it or not. These are threads of connection and energy. So globally, collectively, at this current time, I think generally speaking, there is this sort of, there is the beginnings of an understanding that yes, we are all connected, whether we're on this side of the world or whether we're on the other side of the island or the world or wherever, but we are all connected. All is in the one. All is in the one. At the base chakra, we have this, there's so much information flowing around, there's so much potential for illusion. Now, let's go up into our mind, into our third eye area. What do we see here? We see discernment. This little pixie character. Very discerning. Maybe this is a directive to keep discernment as a priority. Discernment is not judgment. Personal discernment. And there's a calmness about this card because when I did it, even though it's a funny little image, what reminded me when I was just drawing these and all the rest of it were the elves, and which I'd never really sort of thought about elves that much, but I remembered them, you know, from, of course, from Lord of the Rings, and how calm and fast, yet sort of calm and smooth they were. That to me is sort of discernment. Yeah. Now we get to 7. Yeah, discernment, I mean, whatever is, you know, discernment, we're all making these. We're it's kind of like as 2021 gets into more of a swing, I think everyone's realizing, I think there is a general spark of this knowing that we really do all have to work together. And why is this, why is this such a revelation? Why, you know, have we been presented with this? Is it a dichotomy in this life for the last 50 odd years, if not more? That, you know, you either compete or you're a loser. It's just such crap, in my mind. Anyway, let's head up. Let's head up to the 7th. Oh man, this is really nice. We have Lady Luck, who, in all the time of doing readings, I think only came out like for the Capricornians amongst us. The goat's up there high on the 7th mountain. So we get the crown, we get Lady Luck. Yeah, this, what we see just above her is a large darning needle of sorts with a thread on it. It's almost pricking our crowns, this divine Lady Luck, to tell us, come on, Come on, world. Come on, people. It's a good thing to be aware of this new information coming through. The idea of working together is going to benefit not only us. This isn't a sort of global egocentric situation, though it has been. But the drive is moving forward again. The drive is not based on sheer saving one's own ass, is it? Because we're all in it together. Forget about the competition and the greed. Easier said than done. But Lady Luck is here with us. And she is some lady, I can tell you. Very special one. Look, I hope you enjoyed that. Someone out there, maybe it resonated, maybe it didn't. And it is a general, really, really general reading. It was just a sort of experiment. I wanted to work a little bit more with those central energy points within us and beyond us. But I think it is more appropriate within a personal context. So today this was just a general read using those points as a base and looking more so today at the base chakra. So we'll come in again next week and do it again. We'll just see. So thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Hope you're well. You're having a fabulous week. Wherever you are, you're keeping entertained, you're doing your thing, you're supporting the other people around you as well, and everything is a-okay. Thank you so much. Ka kite. Cheerio. Take care.